I've been working as a security guard for almost 5 years now. For a few months out of the year, I work at a parking lot in the city. Many times, I'm working late at night, which I don't mind because I like to stay up late anyways. Last fall, I was working really late. It was probably like midnight, and I was working security for the parking lot. It's a fenced-in lot in a busier and more populated area. A lot of people would park their car there every day, but later at night, it was pretty quiet for the most part. I was sitting in my booth with really nothing to do for a while. It was a clear and calm night. I worked until 4 a.m. on this particular day, so I had about 4 hours left. As I was sitting there, I heard the sound of a car door opening and shutting in the lot. This was strange because to get into the lot, you had to enter by using your ticket at the walking gate. Nobody had been there in a while though. Still, somebody could have got to their car and then went on their phone for a bit or something like that. I heard the sound of a car door shutting again, and then again. This continued for like 5 minutes. A door would shut and then open and shut again. I had no clue what was going on. I looked over in the direction, but really didn't see anything. It was dark and the parking lot was pretty big. Then I heard the noise of a car horn honking. All of the noises were coming from the same general area, which sounded like it was in the back corner of the parking lot, farthest away from me. I decided to get up and go investigate. It was quiet and we hadn't had any cars come in a while. I thought maybe somebody was having car problems or something like that. Overall, it just seemed like a pretty weird situation. I walked through the dark and quiet parking lot. I kept hearing the car door opening and then closing again as I did. Out of the corner of my eye, I thought I saw the door close of a car in the back corner of the parking lot. Like I said, there wasn't too many cars in there at that time, but there still were a few here and there. I arrived at the car where I thought the noise was coming from. It was a 4-door sedan, white, and appeared to be a Chevy Malibu. I didn't see anybody though. I noticed that the front passenger side door was open. I couldn't really see anybody in the windows either. I walked a little bit closer to the car to look inside and see if somebody was in the driver's seat or what was going on over here. I got within a couple of feet of the car and sort of peered inside. There looked to be somebody hiding behind the driver's seat of the car, but nobody in the actual driver's seat. They didn't see me because their head was facing in the other direction. It didn't give me a good feeling at all, so I took a step back and then asked, "Is everything okay over there?" The guy didn't answer me. I could no longer see him from where I was standing. I took a couple of more steps back. Then I sort of saw an arm reach out and the car's horn honked. I asked again what was going on, but the guy didn't answer me. I really had no clue what he was doing, so I just walked back to my booth at the front of the parking lot. When I got back, luckily nobody was waiting to get inside or anything like that. I was sitting there for no more than 5 minutes, and I didn't hear any more of the doors opening or closing or honking. Then I heard a car driving in my direction. I knew it had to be that guy, whoever he was. The car seemed to be driving a little bit faster than it should, and then I realized that it wasn't going to stop at the gate. He ended up driving right by the side of the gate that was supposed to stop the cars from driving past without paying. Fortunately, it was one of those really short ones, so if you really tried, you could sneak around it. He drove right past it and out of the parking lot back onto the road. To be honest, I was just glad that he was gone. Thankfully, he never came back either. I'm not really sure what he was doing. Maybe he was trying to get me to go inside his car and was planning to harm me or something. Maybe the guy was just crazy. I'm not sure. I used to work as an overnight security guard for a company that had some land not too far from where I lived. The company had a nice little campus and was secured by fences and a gate. I worked as a security guard for the main building and would sit at a desk right inside the front door. It was a nice job and I had a good view of the outside, so I could see whoever was driving up from the front gate. One night, it was a Thursday and 1 o'clock in the morning. For overnight, I basically just sat there and watched some security cameras. I also monitored the front of the building, but nobody really ever came inside the building or even the entire campus during these hours. I was at my desk and just on my phone when I saw something outside the window. I looked up from my phone and noticed that there was a guy now standing on the sidewalk out front and walking towards the door. He was wearing a gray sweater and dress pants and had dark brown hair. He walked right up to the front door and then came inside. When he got inside, I noticed that he looked sort of confused, but he started to walk right past me until I asked him for some credentials. I was caught a little bit off guard because I hadn't seen the guy driving up through the gates or anything like that, In fact, I had no clue where this guy had came from. He stopped and took a few steps towards me at my desk. The door that he was headed for wouldn't open anyways because I had to give access for it to open. When he was looking at me, he asked why he needed to give me credentials. I told the man nobody was permitted to go further into the building without them. I then told the guy that I hadn't even seen him coming up and asked him where he had came from. The man didn't answer my question. He just looked away and around the room for a few seconds. I asked the man if anybody was expecting him, and he said no. Then I asked him if he was alright or if he needed help or anything. I asked this because the guy seemed a little bit off and confused. I'm not sure if he was drunk or what, but he didn't seem to be in his right mind. He turned and sprinted towards the door and ran back outside. I watched him run away, through the parking lot and out of sight, but not in the direction of the front gate. I contacted the security guard at the front gate and let him know of the situation. I asked him if he had seen the man enter, to which he responded no. I figured that he hadn't, because I also would have seen the guy enter if he did. That meant he must have jumped one of the fences somehow. I turned to look at my security cameras at all areas of the campus. At first, I didn't see the man in any of them. Then I did. I noticed that he entered view on my camera of one of the fences at the west end. He was there, and sure enough, he was climbing over the fence. When he got to the top, I saw somebody else helping him up and pulling him over to the other side. Then they were gone. This wasn't just some chain link fence either. It was a 12-foot tall fence. I'm not really sure what the purpose of him going over it at 1 o'clock in the morning was, or who was helping him, but it was sure weird. Last month, I quit my job of working as a security guard for a hotel. I've gotten another job that I like much better since. The security guard position was overall not for me, but I'm happy that I gave it a try. All in all, I worked for a total of 4.5 months, and all of it was at a pretty nice hotel in downtown of the city I live in. The area of the city that the hotel is in borders a not-so-nice area and a nicer area. I mainly sat inside the front lobby of the hotel and helped out with any concerns they had, and also made sure everything was in order. One night, a little over a month ago, I was inside the hotel near the front door. The lobby area is pretty big, and there really wasn't anybody else around anymore at this time. I had a walkie on my belt, which I could use to communicate with hotel staff or any other security that was working on the premises. I heard somebody say my name on the walkie, and I picked it up off my side and responded for them to go ahead. I was told to switch to channel 4 on the walkie, and when I did, I was told that there was a situation to be investigated at the west side of the building. When I heard this, I didn't have a very good feeling about it. The west side of the building was a dark alley between the side of the hotel and the building next to us. It really wasn't used for much, and I really didn't know what to expect going out there. I left the front entrance of the hotel and walked around to the side where the alley was. It was crazy how much darker and quieter it was from the street when you got out there. I walked on the side of it, but I wasn't noticing anything. I went past some of the dumpsters that were near the side doors and farther down. Nothing was over there. I walked all around to the back side of the building where there was another alley area. Then I took a few more steps back. I took out my walkie and said that I didn't see anything at all. There was a response of someone saying to come around to the back. I began walking over to the back, but as I did, I thought about how weird this was. I didn't even know or recognize the voice who was talking to me. It seemed suspicious. I got to the end of the building and looked around to the back. When I was there, I looked around again. I still didn't see anything except for a car that was parked alongside the alley a little ways down. Its lights were off, but then I noticed somebody was inside of it. When I was looking at the car, all of a sudden it started pulling forward closer to me. I didn't even know that it was on. I took out my radio and asked who had been calling me over here. On the other end, I heard laughing, and a creepy laugh. Then the car started driving closer to me. As it was getting closer, I noticed one of the back doors starting to open. I just turned and started running all the way back to the other side of the building. The car turned too and followed me down the alley. I ran faster all the way to the front and then back inside the hotel. I didn't look back, but it felt like I barely made it out front before the car had reached me. The car then sped off into another direction. When I got back inside the hotel, I asked other staff members if they knew who had been calling me on the walkie, but nobody did. This was truly a scary experience for me, and I quit not too long after.